Makhanlal Chaturvedi, National University of Journalism and Mass Communication, in association with Christ University, organized a national seminar on net neutrality and free data for making digital India. The seminar was inaugurated by Benny Thomas, Father Christ University, along with chief guests Amit Prakash, B.K. Kutiala, and Durgesh Mishra.
The Makhanlal Chaturvedi National University of Journalism and Communication was established 25 years back. The logo on the right top corner, 25 Rajat Jayanti Varsh, is indicative of the Silver Jubilee celebration we are having from the university around the country. We are having series of different talks and academic discussions that are ongoing in the form of national seminars, symposiums. We already conducted in the series seminar in Mumbai, Delhi, then we have in Bangalore today, and tomorrow we are having in Patna. So instead of having just a celebration by means of food and joy, we thought of having academic discussions, and that is the reason why we are today concentrating our discussion on one of the very relevant topics of today, that is the net neutrality and free data for making the digital India, the dream of Honorable the Prime Minister of India to make India truly digital. This is the discussion that we are having. This university is unique in its way, though it was established by a state government act and we were having all grants from university. There was a time when the university decided and declared that we will not be taking any grants from the state government because we were having our own earning from our consultancy activities. Later on, that grant restarted as a means of necessity for being a government organization, but that is the level of the commitment of the university in the nation. We are having about 900 institutions associated to us, and the vision of the university is, as led by Honorable Vice Chancellor, is quite vocal, quite dynamic in the last couple of years, particularly last decade, where he has been leading the university to further heights. Now this seminar, as you know, is being conducted with the Computer Society of India and of course with this wonderful university, the Christ University, where we are able to witness such wonderful academic work being carried out. The seminar today is providing a platform for initiating a multi-stakeholder interdisciplinary discussion among experts, promising ideas for bettering India's, Government of India's digital future vision. The net neutrality is very relevant to today's society. It's the game-changing, trend-setting event that is going to lead the entire scenario of net and its user in the country in the coming decades. So that is the reason why this is an important discussion. On behalf of the university, I thank all the stakeholders, this Christ University and CSI and all of you for this wonderful congregation. Thank you very much.
Mr. Dr. Durgesh Mishra, Sri Amit Prakash, Dr. Anujag Sitha, Dr. Ivan Jose, the Associate Dean, Professor Balachandran, the Head of the Department of Computer Science, other dignitaries, professors, experts from the industry, invitees, and my dear students. I was wondering why Christ University took the initiative the moment we heard there is an opportunity waiting for us to host an event like this, to host in Bangalore. Immediately our associate dean and head of the department approached me and said, there is an opportunity. Can we host a wonderful national seminar organized by this National University of Journalism and Communication with their initiative? Then I just asked, what is the topic and why this seminar? They said it is net neutrality and in the line with making a digital India. So the term making digital India, I heard, the moment I heard that, I said, definitely we will host it because this topic is merging with our vision and our dreams. And we have started implementing and we have already implemented many things on campus. So I really congratulate the entire team to choosing this topic for this national seminar, and I welcome all the dignitaries to this beautiful campus and welcome each one of you to this event. Before I go to this about this event, I just want to break a news which only late night I came to know. Christ University was awarded with an A grade from National Accreditation Council. So, as a university, this is the first accreditation for us, and we were waiting for this news for many years.
Then I welcome you, all of you, on the behalf of the Computer Side of India in this campus and for this event. I'll tell you something about the MCU. I have a very long relation with the Makhanlal Chaturvedi University from 1997 to 98. When the Dr. Chaturvedi was there in the Director General, and then I associated with the Makhanlal Chaturvedi. Now, this joint venture with the Makhanlal and the CSI is the first joint venture, and the Christ, I think I visited the Christ the second time. In 1998, I got the opportunity to set up the lab there in the Makhanlal with Dr. Anurag Sitha and Dr. Agrawal, and we started the very good lab there. And you know, today is the dual booting and the multi booting is a very small thing. We can start the machine with the Windows and the Ubuntu and all these things. And that time we have the Windows 3.1 and novel network for the networking, and the Unix is there. And we set up the lab with a multi-boot in the Makhanlal that time, and that's very good initiative by the Makhanlal University in 1997-98. And after that, they invited me for a lot of activities there for the Project Viva and all these things. And they started the graduate and PG also in the computer science. And Makhanlal University, I'm proud to say that this Makhanlal University is the first university in MP started the online things. Each and everything is online. This is the first university. And I think from 2009 or 2010, they have started all these things are online. Not only the admission and all these things, all the things are put in the online. And today today they are having admissions, certifications, all they are online. So definitely the Makhanlal University is having credit to do this such type of national seminar at national level. Digital India and this, right? And this, I'll say something about the, today we are organizing this event. And Christ University I visited second time. This first time I visited in another campus. This is also a very good campus. You have a very good infrastructure, and I congratulate to you to get the A grade. Okay, I think there is no need to give the A grade by the NAEC. You are already working on that. You are already in the same field. Okay, so this infrastructure wise is very good. Technological they are using very good. And last time I visited in another campus. This is during the PhD defense of Dr. Samiksha Shukla. Right now this. And CSI is also doing very good in the Digital India. And today I am going to relate this Digital India and Net neutrality, but on the entire day you will have a lot of expert on this. This matter, what I'm going to introduce is a Digital India. All of you know, is a program to transfer India into digital empowerment society and knowledge economy. And CSI is also committed to for the spread the knowledge in the India and out of India also. We are having a joint venture with the other countries. And as father says, what you are doing very lot in the towards the digital India, towards the digitalizations in the campus itself. Then we have to start from the campus. We have to start from ourselves. Then only we can go for the India level.
It's a privilege for me to be here and interacting with you, talking with you on an important topic. Let me also first congratulate Makhanlal Chaturvedi University for the 25th anniversary and Christ University for getting accredited from NAC. It's definitely important milestones in the journey of academic institutions. When Dr. Sita called me about a couple of months back and asked me to talk about neutrality and digital societies and digital India, my first reaction was, I don't know anything about neutrality. And Dr. Mishra, by having given a very good introduction about neutrality, has set up the entire kind of discussion and interaction. And I see Dr. Sita and his team, they have put together an impressive panel of speakers. And I'm sure they are greater experts. They have done a lot more work on net neutrality than what I have. And I'm sure you will benefit from all those sessions. In fact, Dr. Sridhar, my colleague at IIIT Bangalore, has been contributing to a lot of these public consultation papers with TRI, and it would be good to be hearing his views on net neutrality. Now, I have a few slides, and the way I'm looking at the next, say, 10-15 minutes of this interaction is talking about digital societies, talking about digital India, and trying to position all this discussion on net neutrality in the context of what is it that we want a digital society to look like, what is it that we want India to look like, whether it is digital or otherwise. And in all that, where is it that discussions on internet, discussions on neutrality of internet, discussions on neutrality of technology have a role. Now, when we are talking of digital societies, we are not talking of binaries, we are not talking of digits, we are not talking of ones and zeros on which most of the entire computing industry is based on, though that's what it is reduced to. It's either me or you in a lot of ongoing discourse. When we're looking at digital societies, we are increasingly trying to understand how the new wave of digital technologies, and given the way they are permeating into increasing spheres of our private and public lives, they're almost the third general purpose technology after electricity and steam engines. So how is it that these digital technologies, which come in various flavors, and there is all this talk of smart, there's all this talk of mobiles or mobility, there's this talk of analytics, cloud, IoT, all these different types of digital technologies. How is it that they are shaping the way we go about our daily work, the way we go about our relationships, the way we go about our communications, the way we go about our public experiences. So digital society, when we are looking at ushering into a digital society, we are kind of looking at increasing role of digital technologies in terms of the way we live and the way we work. Now, when we talk of a digital society, another notion that becomes very important, and this has been discussed over the last 20 years, is this concept of digital divide. Now, digital society does not mean that we have ushered into a fair and equal and just society. If that is what we want our societies to be, if we want our societies to be fair, if we want it to be equitable, if we want it to be just, this is something that we need to be aware of, that societies, their social structures, and these social structures many a times may not be just and equitable. And there are these notions of divides that are created. And that is true even in case of digital societies. That is true even in case of digital technologies. So this notion of digital divide has been discussed when technologies are increasingly permeating into our lives. And that has largely been used to signify the divide in access to technologies. So most of the discussions around digital divide has been focused on access and use of technologies, and we say that people in rural areas, people who probably have not gone through 10 years of formal schooling, people who don't know English, and people who don't have a broadband connection and various other such connotations, they are not able to access the internet, they are not able to access whatever is being provided to them through computers, and many cases through some of these smartphones. Most of the discussions around digital divide has been a physical access related discussion. And therefore, when a lot of countries, more high income countries, those who have had a larger experience of handling digital technologies, when they talk of bridging the digital divide, it is largely in terms of making physical access more easier. So connecting villages with broadband, connecting or providing internet connectivity, providing computers, providing PCs and smartphones. So most of our discussion on digital divide has been infrastructure and physical access based. Now what I would like to do over the next few minutes is try to understand that this is not the only notion that prevents certain societies and certain communities from accessing or from, so it's not only about physical access, it's also about how are you able to relate to whatever is being provided to you, and how democratic is the production process. The technology that is being provided to you, how well has it incorporated what is it that you need from that technology. And it is in this context, in the context of access, in the context of freedom, in the context of neutrality, that all this discussion around net neutrality is framed. It is framed by projecting internet as a neutral carrier of content. Yeah, and I'll go into that neutral bit in a slightly more detail as we go along. And it is largely based on a democratic nature of internet's evolution. Yeah, when you look at these discourses, when you look at these discussion around net neutrality, those who are for net neutrality, even those who are against, they don't dispute the claims that internet is a product of a lot of democratic production. So when it evolved from DARPA, or when it kind of evolved from the scientific and military institutions of North America and Europe, and when it reached out through various other technologies, packet switching, through the World Wide Web, to more and more users across the world, and when more and more people and agencies were able to produce for the internet, largely content, and then it got hyperlinked, and then you had search engines, and then you had easy access to content. You saw it actually growing exponentially. So internet, the way we the way we have internet today, is therefore looked at as having gone through a democratic process. Yeah, and then the other thing that is often invoked is that internet is a neutral carrier of content. Yeah, and both these terms are loaded terms. Yeah, neutral is something that has many connotations. Democratic is something that has many connotations and it comes in different flavors. Let's look at some data, and some data, I'm not sure if you'll be able to look at this, but if you look at the way, this is some data from the International Telecommunications Union. In terms of access to internet, in terms of usage of internet, definitely from over the last 15 years, from 2000 to 2015, the blue ones, the dark ones are the people who have access to internet, and all the gray ones are the actual number of people in the world. So you see that in the developed countries or countries which are high income countries today, 8 out of 10 people have or are users of internet. In the developing countries, and we belong to one of such countries, it's only about 16 or 17 of the entire kind of population. So that is where we are at this particular stage. So this is one data point, and I'll come back to why or what is it that we can deduce from such data points. In terms of households with percentage of households with internet access, again, when we look at the developed world, it's almost 80% of the households. So it's not people, but households have access to internet. If we look at the developing world or the lower income countries, it's roughly about 30%. Now this one is with respect to the internet bandwidth. So what is the quality of connectivity, if at all we were to use this as a proxy for that? If you look at the bandwidths, again, when you look at the Americas and the Europe, they are around 161 kind of or 80 kbps is the average kind of bandwidths that they're 80 mbps is what they're getting, and the lower income countries are getting somewhere say 1/4 of all that. So in terms of the quality of access, in terms of the number of people and households that have access, this definitely is a concern, and this has been highlighted quite a bit, and most of the attention of our countries and our policies is in terms of bridging and addressing these asymmetries. This one is related to the domain name registrations, and I'm sure all of you would know what a domain name is, and that's a unique ID for all these websites that you access. And those who register the domain names can be thought of as contributors to the content on the web or on the internet at this point in time. So if you can take this as a proxy of who is contributing on the net, yeah, while the consumption is skewed towards certain countries, production is also skewed towards certain countries. So in terms of domain name registration, most of the domain names, almost 80% of the domain names today are being registered in all these developed countries. So if you see, there is some sort of a correlation in terms of consumption pattern and in terms of the production pattern. 80% of users in developed countries, or 80% of the population in developed countries are consuming from the net. 80% of the content on the net is being provided by people and agencies who are in these kinds of countries. Now, if we have to look at this, and if we have to go back to notions of democracy, and if we have to go back to notions of neutrality, then there is something that appears problematic. Yeah, democracy by theory is for all. Yeah, and if internet content is democratic, why is it that most of the content is being provided by a certain section of the world? If internet is a neutral carrier of content, why is it that only a few people, not everyone, is contributing to that content? Yeah, there are issues of access, there are issues of infrastructure, and there are issues of and the issues that are invoked are people don't know English. Most of the content on the internet is English. But that is not what is neutrality. Yeah? Why should I know English to be able to access the internet? I know Hindi, I know Kannada, I know a particular language that I am comfortable in. Why should I be required to change my capacities to be able to contribute to the internet or benefit from the internet? So in terms of some of these notions, the web and the internet as it is today has probably a bit more to do in terms of democratizing content, in terms of democratizing content to be able to reach out to more underserved communities.
It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Dr. B.K. Kutiala, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Makhanlal Chaturvedi, National University of Journalism and Communication, Bhopal. He is also Honorable Director of Panchanath Research Institute, Vice President of Indian Media Center, Director of Board of Directors of Hindustan Samachar, Chairman Review Committee for Studying Existing Constitution and Academic Working of all the universities of Haryana. Sir has vast experience of 47 years. Sir received his postgraduate in Anthropology and Sociology. He is trained in Film and Television Institute of India, Pune, and Indian Institute of Mass Communication, New Delhi. He is trained and practicing computer programmer, a teacher, a practitioner, researcher in the field of journalism and media, an established academic manager, and has received many awards, including Outstanding Contribution in Higher Education, Chanakya Award, Vedic Ratna Award, Guru Shrestha Award, Sarva Shresth Sancharak Award. He has also been associated actively with UGC, UPSC, IGNOU, NCERT, and 20 universities and 22 Institute of Higher Education. Sir, we feel honored to have you among us to share your words of wisdom with us.
Respected Father Thomas, Durgesh ji, Atma ji, faculty of the Christ University, faculty of the Bangalore University, faculty of Makhanlal University, invited guests, and my dear student friends. Is it just a coincidence that the morning when the good news of accreditation comes to Christ University, Makhanlal University is here to celebrate? It cannot be a coincidence. It is as many conspiracies by nature. The nature conspires to bring together people who must work together to go back to nature. And I think we all must celebrate today, not only the Christ University, we must all celebrate that another academic institute gets the sign, the seal of excellence. My personal congratulations to you, Father, to your faculty, to all workers, and felicitation from my university to all of you. Thank you so much, and congratulations. In fact, two conclusions that my previous speakers drew can make a good beginning on a discussion on the subject of net neutrality, big data, and digital India. One conclusion, perhaps a statement, a universal statement of truth is, Internet is a neutral carrier of content. I would add, Internet should be the neutral carrier of the content. It should be. Whether it is or it is not, that needs to be studied, and if there is some distortion, that needs to be corrected. Second is, absence of net neutrality is an obstacle to digital India. I think a very important but loaded statement. Dear friends, we all as a nation fought for our freedom. We got our freedom. But is it the kind of freedom that we envisaged, that we wished for us? As a nation, we all joined efforts to become self-sufficient in food. These are big achievements of my and your country. We got sufficiency in food grains, but is it the kind of sufficiency we dreamt of? Tons of our food grains are spoiled on the roads because we do not have a good storage system or a good distribution system. Did we want this kind of self-sufficiency? We all joined hands. I'm not afraid of talking of politics. A political system created an idea of Garibi Hatao. We all joined hands in that, irrespective of our faiths and beliefs. But did we create a nation without Garibi? Is it the kind of economic nation that we have today? Did we dream of that? We can go on and go on these things, but coming to digital India, no, we all have combined. It is not a political agenda, it is a national agenda. We all want India to be digitalized. And if we learn from our past experiences, then we must be very careful of what kind of digital India we need. And we must make corrective measures during the course of the making of the digital India. And for that, as my two previous speakers have very successfully established, that the digital India must have a neutral internet. It must have a neutral internet, and neutral internet is a concept which is perhaps new to the West. It is not new to us. Our traditional cultures have always been neutral because we always believed in we too, me too, we too, you too, मैं भी, आप भी, और सब. We never believed in मैं ही, me only, or you only. And that is the fundamental difference between the concepts of neutrality and being influential in one way or another. When Britishers came, they said the natives must be tamed. Was that neutrality? That was not neutrality. We were tamed, but they wanted us to tame in a different format. Now, when we talk of neutrality in terms of digital India, 4 or 5 issues come to my mind, and they have been discussed, but at that there is no harm in just restating them. First, of course, is equality of access. If you have to have a digital India, then you have to have equality of access. Everyone must have access to internet, to www, to all service providers. Everyone must have access. But, my dear friends, everyone must have equal access. 1G to some population, 2G to another set of population, 3G to another set of population, and 4G to another set of population. That is not equality of access. It has to be uniform access. Like they say, education for all. It's good. Education for all is good. But differential education, to some people it is air-conditioned education, and to some people it is a leaking roof education. I think equality of education and equality of access and equality of the access of the same access, similar kind of access. At the same time, equality of being accessed also has to be the major concern of neutrality. Now, if I lie in a certain income group or socio-economic status, my access, the access to me is different than a group of people who are much more higher than in socio-economic status. So, even the organized and the governmental sectors, they access their populations differently. They would access a Christ University student differently and a rural university student differently. Even the government sector. So when we talk of the digital India and net neutrality, it is not only the question of the populations accessing the services, but the service providers also accessing the populations. This is a very important thing. It is our challenge is, let us not repeat the mistakes that we committed in the distribution of wealth. We created high income groups and very low income groups. Let us not repeat those highly accessed populations and very low or zero access populations. Digitally Garib or digitally Amir. Let us not create that, let us create equality. Then there is access or being accessed is one aspect, but equality of participation, you mentioned it a little bit, that who provides the content to www and internet? Who are the content providers to Wikipedia? Who creates the content for Google? I think these things are also very important, and equality of participation in creating the content is also very important, as certain studies have proven that most of the content is produced in the developed countries. And when we talk of the developed countries, it is the Western world. Most of the content is produced in the Western world, and there is a Western lens to that. Everything is seen from the Western lens. If you search for yoga in Google or Wikipedia, you don't get a view from the population from where yoga emerged. You get a view from the population from the viewpoint of where the yoga has become popular today. So that is also equality of participation is also an important issue of net neutrality. Then there is another very interesting thing. A Hollywood actor has recently filed a case in a court in West Virginia. He wants Google to erase his mentions in their content, because he underwent a very serious problem of being divorced and being blamed of many things, and he wants Google to erase that content from that, and Google refuses to do that. Now, there is a strong, very, very strong undercurrent, and there is strong a discussion going on all over the world that the WWW should give you the right to be erased from its memories. If I want that my mention of being given Chanakya Award should be erased from my search. When you search B.K. Kutiala, you get a mention of that I got a Chanakya Award. If I want that this particular information should be erased, the question for net neutrality is, do I have that right or not? Do I have a right that so many myths about my country, which are still there in the Google and also in the Wikipedia and also in many other sources, search engines, should they be erased or should they be retained there? Now, these 5 aspects of neutrality need to be discussed. And I hope this discussion today would be followed by more discussions, and the tone that has been set by previous speakers would carry on forward, and maybe more discussions. And we all know that the ideas that emerge from the universities, from the discussions on the universities, they percolate to the industry. From the industry, they percolate to the systems, and from the systems, they percolate to the society. So what we start thinking today, what we start becoming one-minded today, what we decide today becomes the future of tomorrow, for the nation. Therefore, unequal digitalization on the lines of distribution of wealth and resources should be checked. We should be very careful that when we become the organs of the creating technologies to distribute information, to make information accessible to all, to make information creation, participation, equality to all the citizens of the country, then perhaps as technologists we have a greater role. As has been said, that technology is never apolitical. Technology is always loaded with values. And we as technologists enhance their loaded values. If we are aware of the dangers of loading the technologies, then we would be very careful in creating those technologies which would create equality on all aspects. And if that is done, then perhaps net neutrality becomes very, very important when we talk of the big data analysis, because big data analysis are going to be very, very value loaded. I hope some discussions would also be carried on big data analytics and there how to maintain neutrality in those analyses also. Perhaps that becomes very important. A very important issue has been raised. Normally it is not raised in such fora. Thank you for that. If you restrict access to all these internet and WW based services only to those people who know English, then you are introducing the element of inequality right in the beginning. China has managed this problem very successfully, perhaps in a different manner, perhaps by killing lot of rights to information and thus providing a restricted access to the internet. But we, as a country which is multilingual, it becomes very important for us. And I'm happy to note that many service providers, Microsoft, Google, and Apple, everyone is these days working on the Indian language systems, and they have already provided a lot of facilities in the languages. And if we can be equally accessible in most of the languages, then perhaps net neutrality can be maintained, because once you open internet to Kannada or Tamil or Telugu, then not only the access would be there, but also participation in providing the content would also be there. You might get a lot of last month there was a book released by one Ramachandran, Professor Ramachandran, that was Vedas and Tamil, and it's a important and a very innovative research, but it is only available in English, and those people who know only Sanskrit, they are deprived of that thing. And this book, though very important, because I don't know why, but it is not available on the online sources of books. It has to be bought offline. So all these things matter, and when we talk of net neutrality, perhaps the question that you as students must try to find answers is that it was a question asked to Tim Lee, who perhaps invented www. He was asked in an interview by The Hindu, why did you not get your invention patented? Why did you not get patent for your invention? My dear friends, find an answer for that. He said he wanted www to be free. Is it free today? Please find an answer to that. Thank you so much. Jai Bharat.
On the whole, the seminar was organized to provide a platform for initiating a multi-stakeholder, interdisciplinary discussion on experts providing ideas for better India. Several experts from different fields have come and presented their views on the topic. It had provided a greater insights into net neutrality and free data for making digital India. It had also created a new platform for discussing with innovative directions.